The longer I've been in business, the more I have understood that the only way a loss or a mistake or an unfortunate scenario can actually end up being a net negative is if you allow it to be. I used to be very big on the idea that like micro losses create macro wins, just like, the lessons you learn from unfortunate things that happen will help you out down the road. I've kind of even transitioned into a more extreme take in the fact that like micro losses can also create micro wins. And I want to talk about an example that happened just today in my business because it's been a while since I've come on here and talked about my business, but I thought that this was kind of, significant enough to kick me into posting on YouTube. For a little bit of context, I have a hockey media business, so just, simple, super niche, service-based business involves we have, freelance contract videographers that lately we've been training them because I identified that the constraint of my business is we don't have enough videographers, and we don't have videographers specifically that we can trust, right? Which is why this whole scenario is kind of ironic, right? Long story short, we had a booking this morning, and the videographer did not show up. No call, no text, no nothing. Just didn't show up. I got a text 10 minutes after the game started that he overslept. And I was like, I need to address this right now. And this is kind of what I'm leading into about turning a micro loss into a micro win. Because in the past, we've had stuff like this happen, right? We've had people straight up not show up. And what I've done is kind of just not make a big deal of it, but then just not really, give that person any jobs anymore. Like, pretty much just fired on the spot. Just be like, oh, like, it's whatever, mistakes happen, donezo. This kid, now that we have, like, an actual training, recruiting process, like, in place, it's working, at least so far. This kid has been kind of, showing that he cares and he's trying to get better. And this was the first issue I really had with him. So I kind of wanted to give him a second chance. I was like, you know what? Like, I could just be afraid to have this hard conversation. I could just text him. I could text him the hard conversation. It could come across the wrong way. I'm like, no, I'm going to be a fucking real CEO. I'm going to call him and I'm going to tell him that this is unacceptable. And I did that. Obviously, that's an uncomfortable conversation. But I would consider that a micro win. It was like, this thing just happened. But if I, don't want it to happen again, like, if it's a him thing, it's a him thing, right? That's a character thing, whatever. But I didn't really think it was in this case. I was like, I would like for this kid to be able to continue to work with us. This is a fucking super bad fuck up. But second chance, 1 second chance, and I made that clear. So on the phone call, I was just like, dude, what happened? like this is not great at all. And I told him, I'm like, dude, like, the last time that something like this happened, I just didn't give that person any more jobs anymore. But it does seem like you care. It does seem like you're trying to get better. So I wanted to, have a uncomfortable conversation with you and kind of just talk about, like, why you need to understand that this is a problem. Like, the customers were super excited. They were like, talking to the group chat. They're like, oh my God, I can't wait to get Puck Bro out to the game. So excited, so excited. And then he just didn't show up. We also had people prepay. So then they're already like, thinking about more like an offer kind of marketing sales funnel kind of thing. Like, their time to value, they pay, and then the guy doesn't show up. So that's like negative. It's like time to negative value. So it's like terrible. Just overall bad impression. The other thing is, like, growing this business to this point, I was doing everything. I was doing all the videography. I was doing all the editing. I was doing all the customer support, all the sales, all the marketing. So then, now it's a bad look because it's like, oh, I'm offloading to people who aren't as good as me and they're unreliable. And this is like the fifth, sixth, whatever time that's happened, because, this is clearly a recruiting and training business. The more I've learned about it, it's like, that's going to be the hardest part, is because creative people suck. I said it out loud. They suck. They're the worst. But, I got to find some good ones. I believe there are some good ones out there, and hopefully I can train them in whatever, side tangent. But, I just explained to him, this is turning into more of a story than a lesson. Fucking, it's been so long since I've made a YouTube video. This is terrible. I'm sorry. Yeah. So, long story short, whatever, complete fuck up. Terrible look for the business. I was terribly frustrated, but I decided on this Saturday morning, 2 cups of coffee deep, about to buy a third. I'm like, I'm going to call this motherfucker and we're gonna have a real conversation, because in the past, I'm a pretty non-confrontational person. Like, I'd say that's absolutely one of my weaknesses. I'm a people pleaser. I don't want to make people upset, but I'm like, you know what, today I'm gonna get over that hurdle, and I'm gonna make this a micro win. And that's what I did, and that's kind of the whole point of this video. It was just like, I didn't want to have that conversation. I could have very easily texted him. I could have very easily been like, it happens, and then never talked to him ever again. But I'm like, I'm not gonna do that, because this is the constraint of my business. It's not like it's just a customer who's, you know, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a good example for a customer. If it's a customer, something goes wrong with the customer, we have lead gen's not a problem. That's what I'm trying to say. But very often, it's like, it's kind of worth putting an effort here. It's kind of worth being like, dude, like, what the fuck? Like, this isn't cool. This is why it isn't cool. Do you understand why it isn't cool? Are you ever gonna let this happen again? No. And that's how the conversation pretty much went. And, you know, I kind of said, I was like, dude, like, you know, I'm new to managing. This is obviously an uncomfortable conversation. I appreciate you, you know, having this conversation with me and understanding why this is not okay. And, you know, we'll see how effective the managing is, because, you know, if it happens again, you know, it's always your fault, technically, kind of, in a sense. I'm very big on my responsibility, so we'll see how this goes. But that was my micro win for today. That was how I turned a shitty scenario into not only kind of like, I feel like, you know, developing the skill of having hard conversations and managing and dealing with this kind of stuff. Like, I think that helped. It was also just like a confidence booster. It was like, I'm not going to just let this, if I let this just happen with nothing, that makes me look like an unserious person, and I don't care about it. So I don't want that to happen. So that's it. If you made it this long in the video, you've probably been subscribed for a while, and you're probably like, Jack, why the fuck haven't you been posting? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. If we're being honest, like, I just have not. It's been a very mundane. I shouldn't even say that. I shouldn't even say it's been mundane. It's just been like a lot of the same stuff. I mean, I've been traveling a lot, which isn't really. I wouldn't say it's the reason. I would just say I'm kind of sad, but I would just say I'm like less fired up. I'm less fired up because it's like, I know this is what needs to, the period we're going through, where we are recruiting people, where we are training people. It's kind of just a boring time where I'm just dealing with all this stuff, setting up all these administrative things. It's just like, you know, there's no like thrill to it. And like this month, we've made a lot of money this month. Like, we've done some crazy numbers. And like old me would come on the YouTube and be like, oh my god, guys, we made $6,000 in 4 days. Which we did, and that was pretty cool. But it's just like, I don't know, because now, this isn't even part of the video anymore. This is just like me chatting, I guess. It's just not been, I don't know. I don't want to say like I'm, I don't know. I just feel like I don't have much to say about, like, that's why I haven't been posting kind of thing. Like, I'm excited, but it just feels like this is just like a boring phase. It's like, I know what needs to get done, so I'm trying to just focus. It's like, this is what needs to get done for us to make more money. But it's like, there hasn't been any crazy business breakthroughs. But like, I truly do believe that, you know, like, what we're doing right now is setting us up for a business breakthrough. Like, I think I'm working on the right things. But it's just not exciting. Like, it's not exciting. And I wish I had more, like, motivation, exciting, you know, get fired up things to talk about. But I really don't. Like, I'm not terribly, like, my life's been, like, very boring, which is okay. It's, like, what you need to do. Yeah, I'm just not too enthusiastic about it. Or haven't been enthusiastic enough about it to post. Like, I've made some, like, short form stuff on TikTok. Like, come on here and actually make a YouTube video. It's like what am I even going to say? Which is crazy. It's crazy that I'm even saying this, because so much has happened in my business since the last time I talked. But it's just like, I don't feel that way. Like, I really don't feel like I'm in a weird mode. Don't feel like we're making progress as fast as we should be. But I know that, like, I know we are. Like, I literally, like, consciously know we are, but I'm just, like, in a funk. I'm in a funk. Haven't been doing fantastic lately. But we're pushing through. We're making it work. I've kind of just been like, head down, just like work on what needs to be worked on. I know what that is, so we're just doing it. It's like a 3-minute additional rant to the point of the video. Holy shit. That's it. I don't know when to post on YouTube again. We'll see. But I thought this was like a good, I thought this was a worthwhile thing to talk about. So, hope you enjoyed.